Hello everyone, this is Scott. Welcome back to the Mixing a Live Recording series. This is part 2. If you did not see part 1, there's a link in the description. You should go back and watch it because, well, you don't have to. I'll explain what it was. I got the project set up and I got the static mix done. So you can see I've got everything color-coded. I've got everything routed to their respective buses. I've got a marker track up here where I can easily flip around in the project because I've got multiple songs in the same project. And you can see I did a little bit of balancing. So this is what they call the static mix. There's no processing at all yet. You can see I've got nothing on anything, no plugins. And yeah, I did my best to get it all balanced before I start using plugins at all. So now it's plugin time. This is part 2. And specifically in this video, I want to show you, well, a lot of people call it the top-down method. I call it the bottom-up method of mixing. So if you think about, well, I'll explain the way I think about it the way I do. So to me, the audio in each channel, I'll bring the big mixer over here. Boop. The audio in each channel flows down, right? So if this were a real mixer, you'd have an input gain adjustment here. Then you'd have inserts and sends and EQ on the strip, all this stuff. So the first event that happens is the audio hits whatever's on top, then it goes to whatever's second, and then third, and then fourth. It flows down through the chain. So everything flows into a bigger bucket, essentially. It flows down through the chain, it hits the fader, and then it hits its output, or where it's being routed to. So for me, I routed the cajon, the low and the high cajon over here to the drums. I routed the shaker to the shaker, both acoustics, the amp and the acoustic, the electric and the acoustic. Sorry, both guitars, the electric and the acoustic, are going to the guitars channel. The keys have a keys channel. All 3 vocalists have the vocalist channel. So each of these group tracks is just a bigger bucket for everything to flow into. And then each group track, I should show you the routing. So it looks like this to me. I got drums, shaker, guitars, keys, vocals, blah, 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 blah. He can go to the stereo out because that doesn't really matter. And then each group track goes straight to the stereo output. So the biggest bucket is the stereo output, which is at the very bottom, if you think about it the way I like to think about it. So a common method for mixing is what I want to call bottom-up mixing. So I'm going to start with adding plugins to the stereo output bus, because since every track flows into that bus, you'll have the biggest effect on the overall mix by processing on that bus. So without further ado, I will do that. I'll just get rid of that. So I'm going to pick a loud part of the song. The other thing I did, which I didn't tell you, and I didn't show in the last video, is I tuned all the vocals, which was very necessary, unfortunately. Live singing is difficult, and when you're not in a studio, you don't have multiple takes to get it perfect. You just have to deal with what you get. So I spent a long time tuning everything, but now you don't have to hear that. So that's done as well. Anyway, so I'm going to pick a loud part of the song and just kind of keep things. I might adjust faders, I'll keep it balanced, and then I'll start adding plugins to the stereo output bus here. Where'd that go? I'm just going to do a little EQ here. So the entire mix sounds pretty thin to me. There's no low end, there's no high end, there's just no nothing. A lot of mid-range boringness. And a lot of that is because of the instrumentation. This is an acoustic set, so there's no bass guitar at all. There's no kick drum. There's a low cajon hit, but that's not even all that deep sounding. It's more of a mid-range like thud. And on the high end, there are no cymbals. There are no synths or pads or anything. So you have a bunch of mid-rangey instruments with a bunch of mid-rangey voices. Guitars, keyboard, vocals, it's all mid-range. So I'm going to try to accentuate both ends of this mix. I'm going to do a low shelf here. And a high shelf. Do a little smiley face. I want to make sure the shaker doesn't get too out of control. The highest frequency thing in this entire mix is going to be that shaker. So I just want to make sure that when I boost the highs that the shaker doesn't get insane. I'm going to do a little low mid scoop there. Here's before. Here's after. So that was a pretty big difference already. Now I want to do a multi-band compressor because it kind of just adds energy to the whole thing. So all I do is I just dial in I adjust each threshold in each band so that I get about 3 dB of gain reduction in each band, and that just does awesome things. So here we go. So here's without those two plugins. Here's with them. It's like magic. Tons more clarity. Feel like the whole thing just opened up. There's a lot of high end. There's some more low end now. You can hear it in the low notes on the keyboard, and the cajon is a little more beefy, which is sweet. Now I'm going to add a compressor just to kind of smooth out everything a little bit more. That's a buttload of gain. Let me dial that back. All right. So those are my 3 typical things I do on the stereo output as a starting point. So here's before, here's after. So huge improvement already. We still have a long way to go. There are still problems that I hear. The cajon needs a lot of help. The vocalists are still muddy and very dynamic. And then I'll probably see, last week I compressed the acoustic a lot and brought out the strumming, so I'll probably do that again, but you'll see that in the next video. So I hope this was informational. I hope this helps you get off the ground with your mixes. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.